Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 3, Episode 166. And I could tell that I was tired yesterday from listening to yesterday's episode because I said a bunch of things and then I never came back to update you on them. So, for one, I talked about this guy was getting up from a slot machine and he looked at me as I gave him his card, and I sat down and then I didn't follow up. And the reason I had even mentioned that is because later on he sees me in the casino and he's like, "Oh man, I went back there to look at that machine and saw how much you hit." And I'm like, "Dude, you can't do that. You can't go back and see what happened after you abandoned the machine." So he's like, no, that's okay. I just, I don't really know how to play slot machines. And then I saw that you hit for that much money, and I said, if it makes you feel any better, that's an unusually big hit. It normally doesn't happen, so you couldn't have expected that to happen. And that was that. And then there was something else too. Oh, the hotel. I said my host was trying to hook me up with this hotel room, and I'm going to go check the message, and then I came back and closed the episode out. But she did get me a room for Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this area Wednesday, spend the day there Wednesday, drive home, go to my meeting Wednesday night, go back Thursday, spend the whole day Thursday and the morning Friday there, and then come back Friday afternoon. And at least that way I would have used the room the whole time, and people could see that I was in the bed and everything, and that should be fine. So the reason I want that also, there's a couple reasons. Number one is I have a home base while I'm in the area. Number two, I can get some sleep. Number three, I can operate my meetings out of that room without having cars drive by in the parking lot honking their horns or alarms or playing their music, and people on the meeting can hear that. So lots of times I've got my finger over the mute button so people can't hear my surroundings while I'm in a parking garage or at a casino somewhere. Alright, so today is Monday morning. Today is an unusual Monday morning because I took Friday and Monday off, not knowing what day I would be back from visiting with family. So we got home last night. You heard that episode already. And today, Monday, I am heading out early. Normally I would try to get to this casino early on Monday, but I usually wouldn't make it because I would usually have gone to play on Sunday night, and I would have just gotten home a couple hours ago normally for a Monday. So right now I'm heading off to my first casino. We're going to play slots there, and then I will have to stop somewhere and get gas, and that should carry me through most of the day. Probably have to fill up on the way home as well. But let's see, right now it is cloudy skies. Looks like it could rain, but it's not bad. 70 degrees outside, and we're heading off. So today I'm going to hit a blackjack casino that I normally only hit on certain days, never on Monday. Well, obviously, because I never go anywhere Monday. So it'll be interesting to see who is there and if I know them or not. These days, having only 15 main casinos that I go to, I like seeing familiar faces because they trust me, and there's very low stress and very little worry about being backed off or about having any trouble. And it's not until I hit 2,500 or 5,000, depending on the casino, that I even have to worry about surveillance being involved. Because obviously those guys don't know me because they don't get involved usually unless someone is buying in for a lot or there's some unusual activity or a pit boss is calling them. So so here we go, off to our first spot, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back. So I go into this first spot, and the first thing I see is a bunch of machines that are already marked, and I know I'm not going to make any money today. I still went through the entire place and looked around and really found nothing. By the time I finished looking around, I was ahead like $25. And then finally I found one more I wanted to play and played that through. And that one was a really high risk one. It was about $12 a spin. Played that one through, and the last second 3-point shot, I end up ahead $149. So not very pleased about it, but ended up ahead $149 at least. I was down as much as $983 before it finally hit, and ended up making that money back. So I thought it was going to be a horrible start to the day, but got saved by the bell there at the end. So yeah, plus 149, and now we're going to continue on to our next casino. I'm going to get on the highway and head toward that casino, and then start looking for good places to stop to get fuel. Temperature still 70, still nice out. You know, I would take a partly cloudy day, 70 degrees all year round if I could get it. Even 65 degrees all year round, and I would love it. But anyway, we're moving on. I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. So I go into this next place, and I'm all happy to be there. It was a long drive. I go in, I look around. There's no one checking machines. I'm like, this is awesome. I don't see a single person. I saw one guy later on checking machines, and I was on my way out. So I'm all excited. I'm going to find a bunch of stuff. I'm finding nothing. I see one promising one. It's like $1 a spin. I play that through. I don't even know how much I won. Very little. I think I was ahead $3 or $4 on it. Moved on, found another machine, which is one I don't know very well, and played that one through, and that one was a total slaughter, total destruction on that one. That one was $3 a spin. I ended up, at that point, I was down 600 just off that machine. That's 200 bets. That's pretty severe. So then, you know, I'm feeling like, okay, well, I'm leaving down no matter what. Maybe try to mitigate that, you know, have it be a little bit less at least, and get out of here with a little bit of pride. So I'm looking around. I'm like, I got to find something else. And I find one, but I'm like hesitant because it's at $20 a spin. So it's like, talk about going all in, right? So I'm down 600. I put in 400 into this machine, and so now I'm down 1,000. I play that through, no good. Then I have a couple decent hits, keeps me alive for a while. And I can tell you this, I played that machine for like 30 something minutes. That's definitely going to be huge as far as the points, but as far as money, I was just getting killed, and I was down to $135 when it finally hit. And it was just one disappointment after another, because first of all, I was in so deep that I was in for a total of $1,200 by the time it hit, but I had $135 left in the machine. Just getting that far, I hated to have that happen. But then on top of that, it paid like just over $1,200. So now I got a W-2, you got to do the taxes, you got to tip, you got to do all that. And by the time it was all over, it's not like I made a bunch of money. I was ahead $147 when you count everything. So I did get my chestnuts pulled out of the fire at least. At least I made a comeback. I didn't leave down, but just when I found that play, it could have been such a big win. You know, I really thought that it was going to be closer to 3,000 for the hit, but I pretty much got the minimum that I could get for that situation, and that's disheartening. But you know, I'm okay. I got my money back, so plus $147 there. Now we're moving on. In that 1 hour I was in there, temperature rose outside from 70 to 77. The sun is out. The clouds are disappearing. So it's a nice day, but it's not very humid yet. So we're in good shape. we're moving on to another casino. At this casino, we're going to play some blackjack. We might even play some poker at this casino, and maybe some slots, probably not, but we'll see what happens there as well. So for now, I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to move on to the next spot. All right, guys, I am back. So that was an experience. I have to say that as far as this casino now, after 3.5 years, I think the honeymoon is finally over between me and them. I've had a ride for quite a long time and made some very good money, and had an incredible run with this casino. And I feel like it's going to be ending soon, and let me explain why. For over 3 years, I've been coming to this casino and playing unrated, even though they knew my name. And I was able to do that because I had a big loss initially when I came here, and I CTR'd, and I've never CTR'd since then anywhere. And because of that, they created a card for me, and I guess I had one from one of their affiliates or something, but they made me a card, put me in the system, and they all knew who I was. Ever since then, I told them I did not want to play with a card, and they have been good with that and have not said anything about it. It's been fine this whole time. The last 2 out of the last 3 visits to this casino now, they have rated me, and even though they told me they weren't going to, they did. And I think that's a problem, because eventually they're going to say, hey, you've had 80% wins here in the last 6 months, and you're ahead $15,000 or whatever. What's going on? And they're going to look more closely. But today, I did not give them a lot of reason to back me off or to have any issues with me or anything. I had a small spread, one hand at 50 to one hand at 300. I started by playing at a double deck table and got slaughtered at the double deck table. I was down 2,000 at the double deck in about 20 to 30 minutes, betting 50, and the high, well, I don't even know. I was going to go 50 to 250, but I don't even know if I got past 150 on that table. Just all negative, and just had no shot at it. So then I moved over to a 6-deck table, and the slide continued. I bought in for 500. I bought in for another 500, so now I'm in for 3,000, and ended up buying in for another 500 on a double down, which I lost. And then eventually I was in for a total of 4,000 on that table. I was at that table for about 2 hours. Overall, the first half of my play, the first hour of my play, was just terrible. Never had a chance. No matter what the count was, you're not winning. High, low, as far as the cards are. High card, low card, high card, low card, and just killed. And there was even one hand where I stayed on the 12 against the 13 because the count was moving, and of course a 9 comes, and then the 12 against the 3, and then the dealer had a 9 underneath also, so they ended up with a 21. Just everything that could go wrong was going wrong, and I was regretting even coming to this area, a lower opportunity area where I can't make that much money, and still I have to deal with the stress on this stupid table with all these people who have no clue what they're doing. The pit boss was the card counting catcher, so that wasn't great either, so I had to deal with that. So every time they would come around at the beginning of a shoe, I'd put a big bet out there. They'd turn around, walk away. I'd lower it down to minimum. Just overall was not comfortable at any point. I'd say about 2/3 of the way through, I was starting to make a comeback, and I thought, man, this is going to make a great story. I'm going to make a big comeback, and it's going to be a great story. And I did make a comeback, but the story is not good. Eventually, I think they were getting a little tired of my act of desperation and all this stuff. And I announced that the next shoe was going to be my last shoe, win or lose. And I started with a $100 bet instead of a $50 bet, playing my game where I would lower it if it went negative, but it didn't go negative. It was positive, and it stayed positive most of the shoe. There was a couple times in the middle there where it went slightly negative, but overall was a positive shoe all the way through. And by the end of that shoe, I had moved from having 500 or 600 in front of me to about 3,300, and I was feeling much better. Of course, it was not my last shoe, but you know how it goes with the act. I did play a couple more shoes after that and grind it away, and then I got to a shoe where the count started moving up, and I had actually bought $300 bets out there for the last 8 or 9 hands. I think I lost maybe 2 of those hands, and I ended up leaving ahead 650. So I rolled I was down to about $200, and I rolled that into 4650. So plus 650 there, and I did my act of, hey, I just barely broke even, I'm in for 45. I don't know if they bought it or not, and I don't care, but I was very frustrated. I went to the cashier, cashed out 2,500, went to the poker room, cashed out more chips, bought in for 500 to play a 1-3, and then told them I was going to go eat and come back, and then I cashed out that 500 and ended up just leaving. Plus 650 on the blackjack. No slots played at all, no opportunity there. And right now I'm moving on to another casino. This casino I'm probably not going to get much out of, and the next one I'm probably not going to get much out of, but especially on a Monday. But we'll give it a shot, and hopefully we can continue the trend of making money today. Although frustrating, we are making money. That's what matters. Let me think here. Any interactions I had with people other than the dealers? No, I had a lazy dealer, overweight guy, unshaven, slovenly, leaning against the table, and he's like bending the table. You know how heavy duty those tables are? You know how heavy you have to be to bend the table? And he didn't look that heavy to me, but he was really putting some pressure on the table. And let me see here. At one point, he was giving me $100 chips, but I'm playing like 50, 100, 150, and I'm like, why are you giving me $100 chips to pay me when I've got like 400 in front of me? Why would you do that? You know, so that was a little bit frustrating, but you know. Anyway, all right, we're gonna move on, and I'll be back to update you after I get out of this next spot. All right, guys, I am back. So I go into the next place, and I see an opportunity right away. As soon as I walk in, I see an opportunity. 2 spots on the same machine, one for about $1, one for about $2, and I play that, and the first one loses like $8, and the second one makes money. And that's the only place that I found. I found one thing that someone was playing, and they weren't getting off anytime soon, and that was really all I found. I walked around a couple times, and just not a lot of opportunity there. So, you know, took a shot at it, but nothing really available. I ended up leaving ahead $44, I believe. Yeah, $44. So, plus 44 there. And we are moving on to another casino. This other casino, I'm not really expecting much out of either, but you never know. Sometimes I get some big hits there. It's just, you never know. So I think I have some free food there as well. It's about 3 p.m. right now. I haven't eaten anything yet, so probably not the wisest move here, but I'm gonna head out to this next casino, and then I'll be back to update you after I leave there. Alright guys, I am back. I went into this place. This place is a little bit out of the way, but it was a place that offered blackjack, so I went for it. Generally, right now, I'd be almost home. It's that late in the day, but I went in and looked around the slots first. Looked around the whole casino. I found no place. I found one machine that was a play, but someone was on it, and I came back around. Now it's getting ready to abandon my search, and noticed that the guy who was playing that machine had left, and it was ready to go. So I sat down and played that one. That one took about 20 minutes or so. It was a small bet, under $1, and played that through, and ended up leaving ahead $170, so plus 170 on slots, one machine. I then went to the blackjack area, and generally this place doesn't have good blackjack. There was only one table with good rules hidden away. I went there, and there was a guy already there. It's a no mid-shoe entry. They cut it about a deck and a quarter deep on a 6-deck, stay 17, no resplit aces. So I sit down, there's already a guy there, and it turns out that he had not started playing. So he was looking for a marker. He was asking for a $10,000 marker, and there was a problem. I don't know what the deal was, but I know that the pit boss called over to somewhere and talked to them for a few minutes, and then I heard him saying, so-and-so, yeah, and he promises to play it. So I don't know if there was a problem in the past where the guy had gone out and cashed out the tickets, or the checks, the chips, and left, or what, but he sat with me and he was playing. He actually had talked about some places where they make you cash out or pay back your marker right at the table, and so I don't know if he had that kind of issue. Now, I knew this guy from another place, and as soon as they gave him his chips, I said, okay, you ready to go to the other place to play? Let's cash those out and go over there. And that brought some eyebrows up, but I was just joking around. I cracked a couple jokes there before I started playing, and then I sat down and just had a nice little run, talked to that guy, talked to the dealer. This guy was playing 2 hands at 200, and I was playing, it was a $50 table. I was spreading from 50 to 300, and it was just a nice little session. It was cool in there. Usually it's hot in there, and the pit did not give me any problems. The dealer did not give me any problems, and I ended up leaving ahead $1,025. So my low for the session was 0, and my high for the session was plus $1,025 at the end of a shoe, and I ended up taking a walk. So all good. And the funny thing is, I had said, oh man, I've been doing so bad lately. If I could just double up, I'd be happy. And then I ended up tripling up, and they were like, well, you doubled up. Well, you doubled up. And I didn't leave because the count, like from the beginning of that shoe, where things were going really well, it was a positive count all the way through, and it got to like a plus 5 true count. At one point I was like a plus 22 running count. I think I was plus double digits within the first 1 or 2 hands, so all good there. So then I did have a voucher for food there for $40. I ended up using that, and actually using more comps as well, as I'm trying to play down or use my comps in as many places as I can. Just leave a couple hundred for an emergency. But I ended up getting about $100 worth of stuff, and I got some chicken to go, and it was delicious. Everything was good. So right now I am moving on to another casino. I am now at my furthest point for the day. So from here on, I'm going to be heading back toward home, and I'll probably need gas. Not for a while though. We're still in decent shape. So plus 1025 on the blackjack, plus 170 on the slots, and I'll be back. All right, guys, I am here. I am back. I am just about to get off the highway to go to the next casino. I'm a little tired, but I'm okay. We're going to get in and out of here pretty quickly, hopefully half hour, 40 minutes, and then move on. I still have another one I still want to hit as well. So we'll see what happens here. I'm just about to get on the ramp, and we'll hop in there, hopefully make a couple hundred and get out of there, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. So Went into that place, and the parking lot was so quiet. I know it's a Monday, but there really weren't very many cars in there at all. I have a parking pass for VIP, and that was almost completely empty, which is really rare. And I walked in, I started looking around, and I only really found one machine. I'd gone almost all the way through the casino before I found that one, and I played that one through at $1 per spin, and I was ahead about $40 on that one, and then continued on and checked all the little nooks and crannies and everything, and couldn't really find anything else for a while, and then finally found one more. I played on my way out, and I ended up finishing the session ahead $115. So $115, I saw a couple hustlers in there, but they were playing some dumb game that can't be beat anyway, so I guess they had given up on finding anything and were just hanging out, enjoying the money they just made, and they were spending it. So yeah, that's about all that's going on there. So right now I am heading on to one more casino at least, and we're going to see what we can do there. Again, this one's a similar one to some of the others we went to today. It's going to be really hot, really cold, just depending on how much people have pounded it today. And I'm hoping at least a couple games that I know that most people don't like will have some kind of a decent play on there, and we can add to what we have. So yeah, I think we're over 2,000 for the day already, so you gotta love that. Not bad for a quiet day. Yesterday, whatever that was, 1,700, not bad. Over the weekend, a couple thousand, not bad. So we're looking real good right now, and we're looking to add on to it. So right now I'm gonna let you go, and I'll be back to update you after this stop. All right, guys, I am back. So it was actually a pretty decent day overall. If you think about it, I did not add up the total yet, but I will. But if you think about it, every place I went today, I had a win, and that's what it's all about, right? EV is great, but yeah, AV is much better. So the actual win is much better than the expected win. So I go into this place, all kinds of construction going on around it and stuff, and it looks like the road is closed, but the road goes all the way to its driveway, and the road is closed at the traffic light. So if you want to go around the traffic light or through the traffic light, you have to go through the casino, in their driveway, and around the corner, and then you can bypass the traffic light. Otherwise, you have to drive extra miles to get somewhere. So everyone is driving through the casino lot to get to the traffic light, which does not sound like a very good deal for the casino, have all that wear and tear on their parking lot. But I go into this casino, and the first machine I see has a small play on it. I play it, move on, nothing, and then I see a machine that normally you could just walk by and say, nah, there's nothing there. But now there's a little caveat that if you're smart, you can actually investigate and find something that you couldn't see before because it wasn't available before. So I did that on a machine and found a play, and actually ended up ahead like $60 or $70 at less than $1 a spin. So that was very nice. And then moved on, found one of the machines that I like that most people don't play, and played that, and I won about another $100 on that one in about 90 seconds. And then looked around and really didn't see much else. Picked up a nickel and a dime and all that kind of stuff, and $1 here and lose $2 there and stuff. But overall, just played a few machines and did pretty well. And I was in and out of there in less than a half hour. I also picked up food. This place actually has a limit of how much food you can buy. So if you want to use your points, you can, but you can't just say, give me, 100 candy bars. They won't let you. Even though you have the points, they won't let you buy it, which is very awkward. But I ended up in and out of there in no time, and I ended the session ahead $185. So plus another $185 there. So let's look at where we are. The last two was 300, and that's 475, 15 and a half, 16, 22, $23, $24, $2,500 day approximately, just by doing some rough math here. A $2,500 day, and much better than working at the office. Tomorrow, I'm going to be shackled to the office. You know what I mean by shackled? They actually, a certain day every month or every quarter, I don't know. I would know if I paid attention, but I don't pay attention. A certain day every once in a while, they lock the employees in the office. They lock you in the office. The front door is locked. You cannot go out the front door. You cannot go in the front door. You cannot use the side exit door, or an alarm will go off. You are locked in the office, and you are forced to listen to a speech. Now, that doesn't sound very American to me. So, I mean, some people out there, maybe from countries where that's not a big deal, but here we like our freedom. So, I might be listening to this meeting, but I'll probably be in the bathroom listening to it, because that's how much I care about it. Excuse me for that, but I really don't care about your trying to make everybody excited about something that will make you more money, but nobody gets any profit sharing. So why should I care if I'm doing my job? What do I have to do with your sales if I'm not in the sales department? Am I going to get a percentage, a commission or something? So I totally understand, and some of you guys are in a similar situation where you're not doing sales, but they want you to be rah-rah, you know, hey, be excited about what's going on and what's new. I don't care about your DEI, what's new stuff, you know. Anyway, sorry. Why don't you tell us how you really feel, MW? I just feel like everything is too proper, and you're too worried about what people think all the time, and the law does not protect your feelings. Even if a president says that it does, you cannot make it that way. So the law says freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of the press, right to bear arms, and when you trample on those rights, then you're going against the Constitution. And just because, it's not like that anymore, it's after 9/11 or whatever it is, that's a bunch of garbage. Just like people who say, well, yeah, I believe in the Bible, but except for this thing, I don't believe. It's not like that anymore. If you believe in the Bible, then you believe that God has been around forever and will be around forever. You can't say it changed. It doesn't change. We changed. Our society changed. We are accepting of garbage that we shouldn't accept anymore, and that's the reason why things are the way they are. And that's why your freedom of speech is gone. You think I can go down the street and say anything? No way. I could be put in jail for speech. And I'm not talking about yelling fire either. I'm not talking about saying something about the leadership or wanting to do anything. That's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about in your everyday life, depending on who you are, your freedom of speech can be violated. Your freedom of expression can be violated. Your freedom of religion can be violated at any time. So I don't know how I got on this. You know, I need to do I still think I want to do this episode, but it'll probably be my last episode, honestly, because they'll figure out who I am and I'll be in jail for 75 years for using all the words that you're not supposed to use. You know, I think Howard Stern did something like that years ago, where he's like, you know, what crows in the morning sunlight? And the guy's like, a cock. And they're like, okay, well, what do you call a cat, you know, who's a little baby cat? Oh, you call it. And then he was saying all those words, but I wouldn't do that anyway. And even he had to do that to get around the rules. I'm talking about saying everything honestly and expressing myself the way I want to. There's no freedom of expression or freedom of speech anymore. Anyway, there is freedom of making money, and we made $2,500 today or whatever I said a minute ago, and I'm excited about that. I'm jacked. I'm happy. Tomorrow I'm going to be very sad. I'm going to be thinking about you. I'm going to be worried about you because I don't know what's going on. I'm going to be trapped in an office, but I will be back on Wednesday. Tomorrow I'm going to try to get out of the house early, like 5 or 6, and head to the casino, get one little session in, and then maybe after work try to sneak a little session in. And then Wednesday we're going big time, baby, big time. We're going to be going far away, and we're going to have a hotel for 3 nights. Can you believe we're going to have a roof over our head? We won't be homeless anymore. It's going to be so exciting for us to have a roof over our head and to be living like decent human beings instead of sleeping in our car and doing meetings in our car and trying to count tens of thousands of dollars in a car in a dirty parking lot in a casino with people using drugs all around you and peeing on the floor. So it's going to be nice. We're going to have a hotel Wednesday. We're going to do our meetings in that hotel on Thursday and Friday, and it's going to be awesome. And then I'll have it all the way through all day Friday into Saturday, but I won't be there for that. I'll leave Friday afternoon and head home. But we're going to pound that area for 3 days. 3 days solid, we're going to pound that area. We're going to make some money. So that's what's going on, and that's what we're going to be doing. I'm heading home right now. I'm about to stop and get some gas, and then we're going to go the rest of the way home. Going to spend some time with my family, and it's like Superman and Clark Kent. I get to go home and put my Clark Kent glasses on and hang out with the family and be just dad and nobody, and then one day they'll discover the kind of craziness that I go through every day. So I'm thinking about you guys. Keep on doing the right thing. Keep making yourself better. Keep taking money from the casinos, and I'll be back with you tomorrow. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com, and I'll see you next time.